Hey, it's Doris with Aldi Books, and I'm here for a Friday Reads. I know it's been forever since I've managed to film on a Friday, but here I am, and look, I finished Ducks Newburyport. Yes, I did it. It took me a month and a day, so I think that's pretty darn good. And I'm sure you all know by now, I absolutely loved it. It's a book about a Ohio housewife in the modern era, like not even era as in the right now, this moment in time. It's just fascinating, I think, to read about someone like you could talk to them. They could be your neighbor right now in this moment in time, politically speaking. So yes, now stream of consciousness and very stream of consciousness. She does this brilliant thing where she just kind of, as you do, cycles back around to things that are bothering her. So, around and around she goes, and toward the end, the spiral gets tighter, and then it gets almost manic and Djibouti. If you read it, you know what that means. But yes, the ending was just like jaw-dropping. What? Now, and there's also the mountain lion. The mountain lion. She's cool. She's a cool woman. Female. Whatever. Anyway, this is not for everyone. Obviously, that's been said as well. What I would suggest is, if you can borrow it from the library, a digital version or audio or whatever, if you can read the first 20 pages, that should tell you what you think, because obviously there's the just stream of consciousness thing. Another thing I loved about that was just the connections she makes, like how something's going on in there. The cats. But these connections she makes between words, and you're like, now it's going on in here. Anyway, it's fascinating to me. I love making connections. But she does this thing, instead of periods, she goes, the fact that, and it's very repetitive. So that actually did bother me for the first 10 pages. But after that, it disappears. Somehow it disappears from your consciousness. So by 20 pages, I didn't even know she was saying it. And it's just, I was in her mind. It's just such an intimate look into someone's minds and thoughts. And yeah, so try the first 20, and then if you don't like it, you don't like it. And that's totally understandable. I also finally finished The Known World by Edward P. Jones. That other one was Lucy Ellman, if you didn't know. Anyway, I'm talking fast. I have to go to work soon. Okay, calm down. Anyway, The Known World. This is a Pulitzer Prize winner and very much worthy. This is a look into the South, still during slavery, but towards the end of slavery, I would say. But this is, he just covers it all. So this, at the center of the novel, is a Black man whose father has bought his own freedom. He's just a brilliant carpenter, wood carver, and works and buys his wife, and I don't remember if his wife was free already, but anyway, he buys his son's freedom. And then his son gets kind of, not adopted, but he develops a close relationship with a white master slave owner in the community, the highest one on the hierarchy in the community. And he himself, this son who has been bought out of slavery, starts keeping slaves himself as a black man, keeping slaves, and starts his own plantation. And he thinks he can be a good slave owner, a good master. You know how that's gonna go. Can you really? You cannot. So he passes away in the novel, and his wife is left with this plantation. But you just get this look at the police, not the police, but the sheriffs in the town, and the people that he's got a posse that look for runaway slaves. It's just such breadth to this book, and it does this really interesting, unique writing style that I really liked, where as he's going through his narrative and his mental conversations with people, he'll like briefly in a sentence or two right in the middle tell you how they ended up in the future, and then just go right back to what he was saying in the present. So it's really neat. But this is just really deep and really interesting pairing to have finished this right after finishing A Light in August, which also deals with racism, and yeah, just really interesting pairing. So Greg, supposedly fun if you haven't read this one yet. Anyway, and the other thing I should say, I need to say, I'm so excited to say, is I don't have any more lingering books in my life. So they're all either read back there or not read, like The Tower of Doom right behind us, or currently reading, which segue, this is what I'm currently reading, and it's all nonfiction November stuff, and oh, it's fabulous. So I am 200 pages into In the Garden of Beasts by Erik Larson. Love, Terror, and an American Family in Hitler's Berlin. So I'm not gonna talk about them at the moment, but just so you know what's going on in my reading life this weekend. The Great Influenza by John M. Barry. This is the story of the deadliest pandemic in history, 1918. Who knew? A lot of you probably did. David McCullough's The Great Bridge, the epic story of the building of the Brooklyn Bridge. And The Potlicker Papers, a food history of the modern South by John T. Edge. So that's what I've got going on this weekend. Gotta run to work now. Thanks so much for watching. Guy, thanks you too. And we will be back soon. Bye.